Welcome back to another episode on HadalTV. My name is Ahmed, and alongside me is my partner in crime.
I said.
Yep, and we have a special guest this evening, someone whom I've known for, I'm going to comfortably say, over 2 decades.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been neighbours for quite some time.
Yes, we have.
We've been on different ventures together in the past.
Yes, we have.
To be honest, I could say so many things, but I'm going to let him spill the beans later on. Without further ado, we have Mr. Ali Guled Olad with us.
Correct.
Before we get started, I said, I think it's really important that we tell people that they have to like the video.
Yeah. I mean, what do we say normally? We say it's their rent.
Free rent.
Yeah, it's their rent.
Free.
Which is free.
Yeah.
I know it's how the word rent is very scary
heavy.
word these days.
Comment if you have anything to say about this video or previous videos, any suggestions, let us know. And not only that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on a road to 1,000. Yep,
Not
1K.
not far off yet.
And one of you lucky individuals are going to win something. We don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. But we're just going to figure it out as we go along. Cool. Now that we've got all the formalities out the way. Ali, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
How was your
Thanks
day?
for inviting me. Oh, day's been very busy on the campaign mode about the local elections in Manchester.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been out about since 11 o'clock.
In the morning?
In the morning,
Mashallah.
yes.
And it is quite late. I'm not going to disclose the time and the location, but it is quite late this evening.
yes.
Before we go into campaign and elections and this and that, obviously we've known each other for quite some time. For those who don't know who you are, what you do, you know,
Okay.
where you from, where did you grow up, how was life in Manchester, Moss Side, etc.
I mean, I don't know where to start from, to be honest. I grew up obviously in Manchester. I came to Manchester when I was age of 12 years old, straight from Somali, to be honest. I came straight from a small village in Somalia. I started studying and going to school in here in Manchester. I went to college in here in Manchester as well. I went Manchester University, graduated there in business and computing. And then I went to obviously the world of work.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone knows that. And start working in Ministry of Justice, local government, and also private companies, insurance companies. And then I decided, you know what? The best thing to do is to run your own business. So I have started up a security company / a training. We have obviously branches across the country, Manchester, Birmingham and Cardiff. We do quite a lot of funded courses for young peoples and elderly as well. We try and get them into the security industry pretty much.
Nice.
So that's who I am.
Yeah.
In terms of Manchester, is where I feel like a home, and this is where I grow up, and I have family in here, and kids, and my kids go to schools in here. So yeah, this is Manchester is a home to me.
So you would say you're a proper Manc?
Well, yeah, I could say I'm Mancunian, definitely. Yeah.
No, I totally understand. Cool.
Yes.
And where did like your interest peak when it comes to running or just in politics in general? What was your early days of getting involved in that sector?
Early days in getting involved in that sector is when I used to work around in volunteers jobs. I was part of Manchester Refugee Network Support. I was their first Somali advisor there. I used to do a lot of advising on benefits, housing, stuff like that. And then from there, I obviously joined the major political parties in the UK. From there, I was a campaigner. I was ambassador from there as well. I was obviously the chair of the ward as well. And slowly, and I got into politics because I wanted to make a difference for my community, and not only to like be part of the policies and procedures that is happening in politics, but to be the face for the Somali community, to be the face for Moss-Siders, and learn what's happening in politics, because there's a lot of decisions taking place in politics that people yet are not aware of.
Yeah.
So that's how I got involved in politics.
That's beautiful. So growing up, what do you think like is the main difference? Because for me, growing up as a young person who was in high school, college, I feel like there was a lot happening that I could get involved in. But whereas now, obviously before we get into like what do you think the issues are, so what do you think are the main differences back then when you were quite young?
Yeah,
And
I
also
mean,
now.
when I was quite young, to be honest, is there was differences around um, young people will be able to get into opportunities. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but government was actually paying young people to attend colleges. It used to be an opportunity because a lot of families they don't have enough money to support their children.
Yeah.
And with that support, I mean that children can get that £30,
Yeah.
a week to get food or whatever.
What was it called? EMA, was
Yeah,
it?
EMA. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it's
no,
called.
I used to love
so,
that.
Yeah, so that would actually encourage a lot of young people to attend colleges, but that has now changed. Then we used to have. Remember, we used to have a proper youth service with proper youth mentors. That has also changed, and then obviously things change because of austerities. Government has to cut a lot of public service, and I think like people who live in mosque side or what we call ethnic minorities be the first people who've been targeted in these cuts, and I feel like that's because they've been disadvantaged from the system, and that is why we a lot of people suffer now, and then that's the reason why I think it's a lot of difference happening now. It's not like before.
Talking about austerities, I do recognize, obviously, the places like HadalTV was like an opportunity for young people to spend time after college. Also, the Manchester Power, there was like a basketball event. I don't even remember.
The Powerhouse.
Yeah, the Powerhouse, they used to run like sports night, like where they could play basketball there. Obviously, the HadalTV had a lot of opportunities. What happened to those opportunities, or what all the young people used to spend their time with?
Okay, so the thing is people need to recognize is that in 2005 we had a conservative government who their mission was to cut down public serving and to reduce national debt. National debt obviously was quite high, and their number one priority is to reduce that. And the first thing they were right to is the local authorities. Local authorities had the choice to make between cutting the services like HadalTV and stuff like that, but they made the wrong decision. To be honest, that was a very bad decision to straight away target young peoples in areas where it's more side where things are, family working class people. There's not a lot of income. You young people will be on the streets. You can't target them first. And that's the bad decision that local councillors has made, and that is controlled council Labour. They could have made other decisions, or they could get involved more into the residents and find out what priorities they have. Like places like Cardiff, Birmingham, they actually send out a booklet to explain what sort of things they would like us to cut before they decide the cutting.
So that the community was involved in the decision.
Community involved decision. Whereas Manchester, we've never actually had the decision. The decision was already made. However, we had a public meetings with the local deputy leaders and local councillors where they were discussing and telling us about what the court is about, rather than telling us there will be a court, but what do you think there should be. And that's why HadalTV and Powerhouse became a private company. That's why it became a privatization where, yes, the government, the local authority spends on money and runs the building. However, it is controlled by a private company, as you're all aware of. Private company prioritize profit before people. So they will never going to spend the amount of the money that people actually need before they can save their profits, and that is why things happening now.
Where did the local, our local MPs and the Labour, where are they with this? Because I'm sure Manchester's controlled by Labour, and also our mayor's Labour. So if they know that the Conservative actually want to cut and target the youth around Manchester, what are they doing about it? What was their answer to this issue?
The politics around when they do the budget cuts was up to the local authorities, not the local MPs. Local authorities mean the local officers who work in the city council alongside with the Labour councillors, who is obviously elected members in the community. They make ultimate decisions and around the budget cuts. Now, when a councillors, when an officer goes through the budgets and it goes and presents to the councillors, the Labour councillors will meet up and they will make that decision what is best to cut in order to make the book balance and make the central government happy. Now, central government does not enforce anything on above the what their needs is. It's advisable what to cut. It's up to the local councillors and the local authority to decide what is the best for the community. Now, they obviously made that decision where the community was not involved when they're privatizing the powerhouse and other youth services. Not only powerhouse, we're talking about the leisure center as well. The leisure center is run by a private company. You go there and you get charged. This is other ways of saving money. But don't forget, they're still putting money into these companies. So they are paying money, but it's privatized. It means that every service that you pay and the government pays, that every money that you pay in goes to profit, it's still the government pays money towards it.
Following up with that, you said, the leisure centers. That's the better, right?
Yes.
So why did they say it's non-profit?
Well, it is non-profit plus a company house. So the government, the structure of a business is that in order for you to get the money from the local authority, you need to be a non-profitable organization. Alongside to make money as well, you need to be a company registered. So you will still make a profit, but to be able to have access to public fundings, you should be able to. You should be demonstrating or showing that there is some sort of element on their non-profitable organization. Ultimately, it still goes to a private company's hand. They will be the one who's pocketing the money from the public.
That's incredible.
I'm learning a lot today. This is not really my, I won't say cup of tea, but it's not my field of expertise. I think that's probably the safest word, safest phrase. So that's that. We've kind of touched on a bit of background, a bit of history, what's happened, what's going on. And so at the moment now, you're campaigning to be
Absolutely
the local councillor.
Yes.
Who are you representing? What are you representing?
So obviously, and I am representing as independent candidate. I believe in when politics really gets closer door. Sometimes you have to leave the circle to be able to serve your community needs. And as an independent candidate, I will be able to openly, freely speak on issues that matters for the communities in my side. And that's why I've decided to run this year as independent councillor.
So you were Labour, Labour.
Yes.
For how many years have you been with Labour?
Well, I've been in a Labour, a member of the Labour Party for almost since I was 16 years old. I joined them that time as obviously junior. I used to pay my
monthly fees,
monthly fees, memberships, and I left in around 2018, 17, I think so. When Jeremy Corbyn left the party.
I was going to say, what made you, leave or...
Absolutely. So I left mainly two reasons. Number one reason is because Keir Starmer replaced Jeremy Corbyn's policies and ideas. I liked the policies of the Labour because they were a socialist party. They were helping the working class families, and that was what the Labour founded for.
Yeah.
And obviously now it completely changed. It's not on conservative side and it's not on the working class families. It's somewhere in the middle, what they call...
It's more conservative part, isn't it?
Yeah, so when Jeremy Corbyn left, Keir Starmer took over and he decided, you know what, I'll give more power to the MPs rather than the people. I'll give more power to the councillors rather than the people. So locally, I decided to leave as well is because I've realised that people are losing interest on the Labour Party and they don't come to meetings. So we'll have 5-6 councillors looking at each other's and some old, like I would say older people, to be honest, very old people who has no interest in politics but just to support the councillors. And that's the problem. When you're just supporting people and not the policies and what's affecting in the community, it's not going to change anything for the long term. And that's a couple of reasons why I actually left the party. When I left the party actually got worse and worse. They've supported no ceasefire in Gaza and so on. And these things are Keir Starmer. He is the leader. He is the one supposed to bring people together. He in fact dismissed the executive members of the Labour Party who was looking and overseeing complaints in the party into his own private groups. So he informed his own group to look on overseas complaints, which is most likely is going to go in favor on his side.
Cool. So you touched on some of the issues or the reasons why you left the party at the time. So what do you think are the most common issues within the community in Moss Side that you are campaigning to change or have an impact on? So what is like your main objectives?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's going to be a lot of challenges in the community, but most important thing is that what we hear from the community's lack of housing, community's lack of opportunity when it comes to actual jobs. Community is sick and tired of young people getting stabbed or antisocial behavior and criminal antisocial behavior and crimes in the community. We have also got, when it comes to even cleanliness in the area, it's terrible. We've got potholes everywhere, and these things is I and you pay for it. Yeah, every year you get council tax. If you look at your council tax bills, it actually increases every year. Yeah, it never goes down.
Never goes down.
So the amount of services that we actually receive is very poor in this side of the city, specifically in Moss Side. Yes, the councillors over here, they claim that they support and the work that is happening and the council is doing, but do we actually get the level service for the money that we pay, or do we just get small jobs, bare minimum?
That's one of my pet peeves. You know, if anyone has a pet peeve, drop it in the comments about communities or whatnot. It's like when I walk around, and especially where I live, sometimes in the alleyways, living off a main street, all the commercial and businesses, there's a lot of dump.
Correct.
I don't see forget the big companies and the bin men and all that stuff. I don't see anything else being done to keep the community clean. Because when you go to like other areas or some parts, you see things like flower pots, not graffiti, but like a bit of art. You know, it's just appealing to the eye.
Yes.
But for me, sometimes when I walk, it's just a bit of an eyesore, if that makes sense.
Yes. So, and I don't know if you guys know about it, when I was talking about the budget cuts, the second thing that was actually targeted was how they can reduce the amount of money that they spend on recycling, for example, in Manchester.
I don't think we recycle. I don't think there's any sort of just one big bin outside for like 500 people or whatever. Go on, carry on.
So the original idea before the cut was that we should have wheelie bins, green, blue, black, you know, to recycle things, which is at the back of your garden. You wheel it into the back of the street in late on Thursday night, and obviously that would cost more. Staff, truck drivers, to actually go around in every area of the community to kind of pick it up, you know, and to actually reduce the budget that the government cost. What they did is to target places like Moss Side first and introduce community bins. Now, community bin is where anyone can dump any rubbishes in there.
Is it the big ones in the alleyways?
Okay,
cool.
Now, there is no way someone actually be able to monitor who's dumping these things. Is another way of basically bringing dirtiness in the community and letting the community down. That is a major problem. And I would say to any politicians, all the councillors who is representing the Labour Party, and look back on your book and reduce the council tax if you want the community down here to do a bit of cleaning, because they're actually complaining that we are the one who's causing the problems and leaving rubbish on the streets.
Of course they would say that.
We're not. we're just being disadvantaged because you're given an opportunity for commercial businesses to go and dump stuff in those things because no one is actually monitoring.
No one's monitoring. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So the election now, obviously you're standing for election for local councillor. So I'm guessing the mayor of Manchester, that's going to be election for that one as well.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the mayor of Manchester? Because obviously as a Labour, I have an issue with Keir Starmer and obviously the way he's represented himself, because I find him to be a liar. I mean, the guy's incredible. He lies every 5 minutes, and then actually believes that these lies I told, they're not lies. Like for example, he said that Jeremy Corbyn was a great friend of his when they asked him, and then a couple of months later, he said he's not a friend at all. Do you know what I mean? He said that like even though he's a human. I think it's a human right lawyer, isn't he?
Yes.
By trade.
Yes.
That obviously, when the question was asked by the BBC about cutting water and food to a population, that he said that yes, and then later on he's trying to say that he never said it, and then obviously like there's so many policies where he said that he was going to do it, and then later on camera again saying that he never said it, even though there's evidence there. The guy's on camera.
Yeah.
So for me, there's no way that I would vote for someone like that. Like
Case Timon actually is run by a backbench Labour right wings politicians. They're the one who is actually pushing him. They're the one who's telling him what to do. As a leader, he's not actually making his own thoughts and decisions, and based on the policies and procedures in the party, it's more about what the donors of the Labour Party would do to him and what would they say, rather than looking at the reality. And to come back onto the issues that you touched about the elections, yes, there will be 2 elections. One is the local election, which is I'm running as independent candidate, and then you got the mayoral election. And one thing that people need to remember is that in 2005, actually Manchester or Greater Manchester has voted, we don't want mayors. Now, there was a where a Manchester leader, a guy called Richard Lead, who was the previous council leader, who proposed that we should have a mayor to the central government, part of the Northern Power what was it called? I can't remember the name. He had a big project on, which means all the Northwest should have a mayor, and from there they will introduce more power into into Greater Manchester Combined Authority. Greater Manchester Combined Authority now is in charge of things like education, health, social service, stuff like that, which obviously affects many families who live in Moorside. Mayors get paid. Their payment is coming from you and I through the council tax and through other means of getting central government's fund. It's just another cost on our shoulders. Who wants it? We don't want it. So we've been forced to have this
Mayor of Manchester.
Yes, because the public didn't choose it.
Okay, to be honest with you, like all I heard was like good things of him so far. I'm not a big fan of him, but I've not seen any negative side of it. Obviously, like, I'm learning a lot tonight about obviously how the central, like obviously the mayor of Manchester and obviously the local authorities could have made a difference on the youth project and stuff like that. So yeah, it seems like a.
I mean, okay, fair enough. He decided, you know what, we're gonna have air claim zone, which costs every single Moorsiders money.
I don't want it to go that direction. Or what Sadiq Khan is doing in London.
But
we do not want that in Manchester.
That unfortunately, if the Labour Party win, that's exactly what you're gonna have.
They are gonna go win. I mean, please vote for the Green Party. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of this.
We don't want the Labour Party actually to win. We want as many independent candidates to win in the general election coming up. You never know. Manchester Gorton would probably have another independent candidate in the future in 2-3 years' time when the election comes up. But it is mayoral election or a mayor in this city is at the moment costing a lot of money the public. Things I've just said to you. But if you look at the other way as well, where and the combined authority has a funding for education and what they call upskilling, and that upskilling and funding does not actually directly come to Moss Side residents. It goes to different places like Old Trafford and Warrington, Oldham, places that is not, you know, where's our part basically. They've received a lot of fund through a company called the Growth Company. The Growth Company, if you look at, you see a bunch of Manchester councillors are the directors, board directors, all of this, but they don't actually benefit in anything for us in the community. And that's what I'm saying. As a councillor, I'll be going out my way to actually bring those services to Moss Side, because otherwise we will never gonna get it. And central government, I'll give them millions of money to actually distribute to equally to the society and to residents, and we should be getting those funders. There's about 33 training providers who sign up to this, and almost none of Moss Side guys will get one.
Amazing.
Wow. Well, not exactly amazing, but
amazing, not in the way that you're thinking.
I know. I was just playing on words there. So, what stands you out from the other major parties? What are you going to be doing differently, and why do you think there's going to be more and more independent people running? And what are they really gonna bring that has not been brought before? Is my question.
You know, and the problem we have in political parties nowadays is that it's actually controlled by a group of people. Okay, those group of people could be thin, especially in Manchester. I'm looking at 5-6 guys who got together and they control the party. They control Labour councillors. And I understand, because they are afraid of them getting kicked out the Labour Party. They got something called the whip. Yeah. So the whip decides if you're against anything, the decision of those people have made, then you will leave the party.
It's not a physical whip, is it?
It's not a physical whip, but
that's what they call
it's
it.
a policy.
Yeah,
it's a policy that you have to agree to it. When you first go into the interview, they actually ask you.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to agree to it. And if you don't obey it, then you leave the party. And that's the problem. You're not freely representing your community. If your community is suffering in some sort of issues like housing or youth development or even you need a new GP because it's gotten too much, the population is growing. And these things will have to make decisions through those leaders, not your local councillors, but those guys. Those guys disagree. You can't do much about it. Whereas I am freely working for the peoples of Moss Side. I'm the voice of Moss Side for the voiceless, and I will push my agenda until we get it. If we don't get it, I'll send them to court.
So you don't have any regret leaving Labour?
Absolutely don't have no regret. In fact, I'm free man now.
Beautiful. And what sort of reception have you had from the community as you were going around, knocking on doors, approaching businesses, speaking to members of the public?
I mean, the public is well informed now that political parties are not serving their agenda or their interests. They're serving their agenda but not serving their interest, and they want that change. But they were looking for alternative ways of voting. Now we've had all major political parties around the cross, but they went, okay, you know what? Labour, if we vote for Green, they might not do anything for us. But now they have the opportunity to actually vote for someone who's not controlled by any of the political parties, who would go ahead and do their jobs better than what we have right now. And people want that change. And you know, I come across with people fed up with the Labour Party. I come across. I
mean, I don't think you have to be involved in politics.
I come across people who says, you know what, I only vote Labour because I want to get rid of Conservative because they're not good to me. And then this is the problem we have. They're all the same. They're all the same shit. They're in there together, but they're not in for you guys. And this is why we say, look, vote for someone that you know. Vote for someone that is independent. Vote for someone who's gonna come to you direct, and you don't have to go through these, you know, hierarchical stuff like that. So you just straight to the person. and that's where people welcome in this change.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad you're running, and I'm glad you're independent, and also I'm glad that Mahdi's already a local councillor in our community as well,
Absolutely.
which makes a good difference as well. So to have two of you being a local councillors, I think that should make a good difference.
I mean,
to
you
myself.
also need a challenge, and that's why in business you have competitions. It's good to have competitions. It's good.
But I think there is
yeah.
no competition for Labour in Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, there
But
is.
there should be now.
There should be.
There has been no challenge for a long time.
So there were no challenges, but there should be, and also there should be an opposition. You can't have every single one of them as Labour councillors. A few years ago, they were 100% council. All 32 wards were Labour councillors. Now, those Labour councillors, it became just laziness. They weren't doing anything. They were basically serving what the Labour councillors and the Labour leaders want them to do. And slowly, they've lost a few seats in town, in Hume, and also in Disbury.
Okay.
So they've lost those seats, and now it's slowly things has changed in the chamber, in the council, and we need more politicians who's opposition to the Labour Party, because it makes them work. It makes them work.
It'll work you up. Just a bit of a side one. I want to touch one thing about housing and one thing about parking.
Yes.
Obviously, this Ramadan, parking, Al Furqan, Rusholme area. I'm not sure if that's part of your ward or whatever it might be.
It is.
They've started.
It is the ward. It's
Okay.
my side ward.
Perfect. So
Don't call it Rusholme anymore.
Okay.
Yes, it's my side.
Anything I say that is incorrect, correct me and correct me in the comments.
We're good.
as well. Like I said, I am not the expert in this field. So they're introducing a lot of. I can understand, certain locations to be, time restricted for the people that live there, residents and so on. Is that something that's going to transition into Moss Side, do you think? Because we're now almost considered to be a city centre, or?
Yeah, I mean, parking is a choice of the people, and then you have the councillors to facilitate those choices. The side of Rusholme where they have parking now is basically we had an affected area of on the other side of this is Great Western Street, on that side of it. It was very bad. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was very bad. But the way the decision process took place, it wasn't the correct channel.
It just happened overnight.
Yes. So yes, the local councillors are claiming that they have spoke to many residents in the area, but I have a looked at the way they designed this the residential parking. Now they have sent a letter to those streets, but not the other side where I live, and all of this side. Nobody was aware of it. Now when they were doing it, they've sent a letter saying, no, we're going to have a residential parking. Everybody go ahead and apply for your badge. Now, it went too quick. The process actually went so fast. And then it got it done. Now, a lot of families got a ticket while they're parking outside their houses. Now, I and you, personally, me, I know that a lot of people are not, registering to their houses down here because they've got families they got to see somewhere else. Or other reason why. They got tickets and they can't appeal it now because the car that was there is not registered on that specific property.
Is there a limit? I don't know if you know this, but
I mean,
how many cars can one household register?
At the moment in Moss Side, you can register as much as you want, as long as you go online and register. But look, the community over here, especially after Clement, after Great Western Street, to this side, Al Furqan and all that. To be honest, there's not much of people complaining about it. In fact, they don't want this. When I door knocks, who asked for this? We were not told that we're going to have a residential park in this area. So, and then I said, okay, but your councillor make that decision, and that's why you have to elect someone who is going to inform you on every decision that takes place in Manchester City Council. Because if these decisions are affecting you in the long term, then yes. Now, some area in Manchester and some area in different councils, they might introduce like residential parking pay, where every cars that you get first car free, but after that it might happen because ultimately this council wants money. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So
I'm just
they
giggling
need
'cause
to make they
this is
need
like
to
London
make as
now.
many.
It's
Yeah.
coming to it, innit?
Yeah. Trust me, it will be a time where your visitors will not be able to come in here, and they will park using money, and also a clean air zone. All of those
Yeah,
things
all of that
will
stuff, yeah.
happen if you have Labour coming back into this and they win every seat. It will happen.
Now that you've mentioned that, touching on, because obviously Manchester's growing in population with everything in the city centre.
Sure.
And one of the main architects, I'm not sure if you heard of Ian Simpson, he's kind of like responsible for majority of these towers. I was reading that he kind of estimated the population in town is going to go from 70,000 to almost 200,000.
Yeah.
Now, majority of people that are going to live in those, luxury apartments pretty much are not going to be the community.
Yeah.
Of course they're not.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is there in terms of housing, whether it's social housing, whether it's discounted, rent, house, like what's available, what's to come, what do you know?
Yeah. So what we have to understand, guys, is that when Conservative Prime Minister long time ago, remind me the lady's name.
It's a manufacturer.
Yes, she obviously started privatization on council houses. Now, this has affected many of residents in the country. It has good and bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Manchester City Council sold all their properties to
Housing
or
associations.
gave house association.
Yeah,
I would say
yeah,
were
yeah.
sold, but gave their properties to house association. Now, the housing association is the ones that obviously ask for backup of the local authority and the government to borrow money to build houses. Yeah? So as long as they back it up and say, look, yeah, you can go to the bank and borrow money and build the house, if anything happens, we in fact will give the bank their money back. So the council are actually given the options to go ahead and privatize some of the things. The Manchester City Council decided obviously the best way to do it is to give to house association. Now, house association obviously, if they want to build more houses, they got to talk to the council and also get the backup of the central government to build more houses. The council does get money to build more houses, social housing, and they give it to the council, the like Mosque Care or Manchester One or anything like that. So that's how they actually build houses in the area. But in Moorside, there's something that we're actually going through. It's called regeneration, and basically changing the population that is here to a new population.
So when did that start?
It started in 2015 when Richie Lee wants to make the city more Airbnbs, more hospitality, more hotels and
Just
stuff
more
like that.
tourism,
Yeah,
basically.
more tourism.
Yeah.
Where they got
Yeah.
the city tax. The city tax is where they charge you £5 for sleeping into a hotel, stuff like that, and that's where they generate income money. I mean, I would say I grew up in Moorside. I'm not moving anywhere.
Yeah.
You can bring tourism, you can bring different people, but I like to stay here, mate. I feel comfortable in my community, and if we don't buy these houses for after a few years, it would be a time where we have to ship ourselves out of here. They're not going to do that by force. What they're going to do is they're going to introduce a lot of families here claims benefit. Some of them work part-time, lower income, stuff like that, where rent increases.
Gradually.
Yeah, so you'll get houses that is going to be like at 600 or 700, 800, and people are going to won't be able to afford it. They're going to have to leave. Those houses then going to get replaced to apartments, whatever, shared house accommodation, stuff like that, and people will start living in here, and we will have to leave. And this is why I'm saying, like, if you elected me as your councillor, I will make sure those decisions that taking place, you're fully aware of it, and whatever we can to stop it, we'll try to stop it.
You mentioned Mosque before.
Yes.
And Mosque is the biggest housing association in this area.
Used to be the biggest. Manchester One is actually the biggest now.
Oh, okay. So
Manchester One.
So the issue I have
Is it Manchester One is like combined of
So
different, or am I thinking of something
I
else?
think Manchester One, I think, is
It's
combined between two.
They all joined anyway.
Yeah.
They all joined, different associations joined together. But Manchester.
But Mosque
One-
still is the
It is
still
it's
alone.
the second. No, it's joined with other
It's called MSV.
MSV from
that's the one, yeah.
from St.
Something
Helen.
St. Vincent. Or
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah,
is.
so they came from
yeah.
they joined St. Helen or something like that to bring.
So
more
the
house.
question I wanted to ask was, why is it Moscow does not sell this house? Because I have seen so many family members
Yes.
and so many people that live around Moss side who willing to buy their houses, and actually all they heard back is from Moscow is these houses are not optional if not for sale.
Correct. So the way it works is when you are buying a house from Moscow, they look at if the house is actually given to them by the local authority, or if they actually build it. If they build it, then it up to their decision to actually sell it. If they've been given to the house, then it's your what's called right to buy home, where you be able to buy off using the government discounts and stuff like that. So you should be able to buy if the house was actually given to them in the time it was registered.
So the houses that I'm talking about now is old houses,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So why are they saying still are not optional? They're not build these houses.
So some of the houses in Mossad is actually built by Moscow.
How? Because sorry to cut you off. Like my street here now.
Yes.
This street is very, very old.
It looks old, but some of these these houses are actually built by Moscow.
That's interesting, you know.
They are
So
actually
what
built.
about the block? Like from Hartington to
Street,
Crondall.
they actually build them.
Okay.
They build it using the government money and that time they build it.
Well, not nice, but
However,
interesting.
Princess Road that side, it used to be been given to them.
So wait, past Quinny Crescent.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
side.
Prince
those
Road's newer.
No, they're older houses.
Wait, now, come on.
They've been refurbished.
I've been here for over 2 decades. Yeah, you're
they've
telling
been
me.
refurbished.
Bro, these
The-
streets,
yes,
like,
all the brown houses.
even my street now,
Yes.
So the red bricks are new.
The red bricks is that
With a light
the ones
that-
that they build. The one over there is the one they've been given to by the council. That's why Manchester One is still running them.
There you go. You learn something new each day.
I thought these houses were old.
They look older.
So when did they build like houses around here?
It's been a long time, to be honest. I don't know the exact year, but I do know that like Hartington Street,
Yeah.
they're the one who's built it. Hartington Street, well, to be honest, when I heard from the people, that was a market before Princess Road. That was actually a market where people go and buy stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. I can't go back to that history, but it's been a long time. I wasn't here, so a lot of people tell me.
So I'm guessing this is the reason why they sticking to these houses and not selling them.
Yeah, it's up to them. Basically, if they make the decision to give you, they'll sell it to you. But there is no law forcing them.
And also, can someone get kicked out? Not kicked out, but almost like forced out. That's been living in a house around here for quite some time, whether it's a
Okay,
council
the only way the local authority or the house association can get you kicked out is if you refuse to pay your bills.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. If you're being a nuisance,
Yes.
Yeah, because obviously they cannot break the tenancy agreement, can they?
Beside that, they cannot take you out. Obviously, they got to follow the process of victim youth through the court process and stuff like that. But they cannot just grab you and say, get out of that place. However, if government decides, regeneration in the area will happen, you may get paid out of some money and then the whole...
Give you a hope somewhere else.
Yeah, that's it. It could happen. But this is what we're trying to avoid as a politicians. We don't want our community to be divided and gone.
Yeah.
So this is why you have to have those councillors who would actually work close with residents and give them some bright future in the way they are and hope and bring more jobs opportunities in this ward.
we could literally do a whole episode on housing.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
showing how long this has been.
To be honest, I wanted to touch why people are having lack of housing in the area is because we've got a population that is growing.
Yeah.
However, all the lands that is owned by the public is being sold off to private companies, and they will then build a housing that is obviously rent to buy to let or rent to let, whatever. It's not really benefiting the peoples of Moss Side. You've got families who squash into 2-3 bedroom house where they've got children like 4 or 5, and when these houses are actually getting built, they're not getting built based on the need of the community who's based in here. They're getting built based on who's got the money. and who's going to afford to buy the rent and fancy houses and stuff like that. And as a councillors, this is why I would not I would not take where in favour of the private companies where they're not going to build what's not benefiting for our community. Again, because of the law, you can't really stop it, but you need the people to be aware of. Once the people are aware of, then it's the power back to the people.
Okay.
They can protest, they can make a decision, and they can make it a lot different.
Definitely, man. It's been great today. I've learned a lot, and we'll definitely like to have you back at some point in the near future. But before we close off, what's next? Where do people go to vote? What day is it?
And also, how do you get in contact with you as well?
So they can actually get in contact with us on my telephone number. Also, I got the social media pages on Ali at Ali Olad. We've got the website as well, voteforali.com, and also they can and my leaflets are everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen them.
So they're in every single house. We haven't actually missed one house. We put through every single houses, so they can contact us. What's next is to get people out of in number and go out on the Thursday, the 2nd of May, and actually go out and vote. Your vote actually matters because it'll give you a stronger voice, in Manchester City Council, an independent voice that is not affiliated with any political parties, and totally independent, that is working for you in your family, and that's what politics at the moment needs.
What time is the voting opens and closes?
Okay, it opens at 7 o'clock in the morning and closes at 10 p.m.
Is there just one place to vote from our side, or is there different?
Nope,
places?
it's a different polling stations.
Different polling station.
It depends on your postcode. It depends on the areas that you live in. So there's about 5 or 6 polling station. However, I have a good news. On that day, you might get a card from me giving you all the addresses where you need to go, so you should be able to identify.
Yeah,
where
I think I've got my polling station already. Mine is always the same one. It's just
and
on
it's
the
also in your card. The card that you receive,
that's what
is on there as well.
Cool, that's great. What we like to do at the end of each episode is we like to play a bit of a game.
Okay.
Yeah, a bit of a quiz.
again.
I
think he's a potential winner.
I think you might take the lead. Just generally speaking, we just like to quiz our guests, especially those who are Somali. How good is your Somali?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll say a random word.
He's confident already.
Okay.
Confidence already flying high.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I'm always the what do you call it?
Okay.
The adjudicator, the person that throws the words out. Okay. And you two will go head to head.
Okay.
We got 3 each.
We'll do 3 each.
Okay.
And then by the end of it, bragging rights.
Okay.
I said if you win, you get to become a councillor. And I'm joking.
We swap seats.
That's it. You put the suits on.
Yep.
All right, cool. Just the general idea is, so I will ask Asad, what is this in Somali?
And telephone.
Yeah, so something like that. A bit interesting because telephone could be an English word. And I could ask you, Ali, what would this be?
Okay. Beer.
Yeah. So water.
Beer, I get.
No,
beer.
but it's
Okay.
This is a competition, bro.
It's already started.
What are you talking
All right, cool. So that's the idea, yeah. And then we'll just keep it really simple. I am going to try and keep it around the topics of what we spoke about today.
Okay.
And so try and keep some relevance to it. I said I'll start with you since you've been going crazy about housing. How do you say? This would be really easy. So a warm up, a house.
Guri.
Okay. Ali, Mr. Olad, how would you say vote?
Are they?
Oh, okay. Is there another word for it? Can you verify that?
Yeah, I think Dorosho.
Dorosho is election.
I don't know.
Is vote.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there we go. He's
Odeya.
educated me.
And election is
Dorosha.
Dorosho. Vote is.
So if you say Doro, doesn't that mean vote?
I mean,
Dorosho,
Doro
yeah,
is a
that's-
choice,
yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
what I
It's
think.
also a choice, but Odeya is
Give him your vote.
give your
basically.
vote.
Yeah.
Let us know in the
Odeya.
comments if what he's saying is right.
They both could be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
1-1.
1-1. Next question.
I've not lost it. You know that. I've not lost it to any guest so far.
Oh, really?
I've won every single time. I know I should not even said that because I'm gonna lose tonight.
Yeah, a bit too early. Asad, how would you?
We're gonna let you win.
say-
Don't worry.
No, Ali likes a challenge, like he said. So, how would you say parking?
Oh, that's a very
Yeah, that's a tough one because there is no such word in Somali.
Isn't
Parking, yeah, there is no such word.
parking. It's a hard one.
Bro, we have land in Somalia. There is no such thing. I'm gonna park somewhere. The only thing I can follow is a garage. That's it.
Again, that sounds like an English word to me.
But that's not the only word they have. If I'm right,
Parking, yeah.
yeah, there is
I'm
no
actually thinking about it, you know. Parking.
there is no word for parking because we don't
It
specifically have,
should be.
we don't have a parking in Somalia.
Because I was gonna say, how do you say a mechanic? How do you say a garage? Are you gonna just say garage? Yeah, mechanic.
Because Somalia they use the word garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so garage sugali, that means put it inside the parking.
yeah,
But that's as far as we go. I think that's it. There is no parking.
I think we let the viewers to comment on that one.
Yeah, we're not short in land in Somalia, so we don't use parking. You can put your car anywhere you like.
I'll move to Ali. So we've been talking about environments earlier. How would you say communal bin?
Community bin. Ooh, that's a very good question. Wallahi.
Or just parts of it? How would you say a bin, or how would you say communal?
Community is bullshit, innit? It's a bullshit.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, bin would be والله ماشي bullshit القشنكة or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I would accept that. I was thinking something khashinka.
Okay,
So-
yeah. Community bin.
I'll say that.
something
Or
قشنكة.
could that
Could that fit? Yeah, it could be.
What does that mean?
The recycling bins.
Oh, is it?
قشنكة اللي قدر, yeah.
Okay.
It could be that.
And where's that from? Is that like Rukhoy? Okay, cool. Obviously, I'm from. What's the other one called?
Yeah.
Anywho,
down south.
Down south. That's it. We'll keep it English. 2-1 to Ali. All right. Until you come up with. Hey, at least he said and he said Khashika. So,
Yeah.
Hey, all right, cool. At the how would you say youth?
Dhalinyaro.
Yeah, Daniel, same thing.
I'll take that. And lastly, Ali, let's keep this
To make a
spicy.
draw.
No. Let's keep. I'm genuinely thinking of something that will kind of entice it a little bit. Normally, I like to have these written down, but today we're just going off the dome. How would you say independent?
Oh, that's a very good question.
You declared me as a winner here.
حرية or
Harriyat, it means it's freedom.
Wait.
or it could be. Well, that's all I can think of.
Because if I'm introducing you as an independent candidate,
Yeah.
let's say I am a proficient Somali speaker.
It's tag or something like that. I don't know. It's two words.
Have you
I
got
guess.
it?
You got it.
I don't need to. I'm a winner.
No. I was gonna say if you get it, you can win it.
Okay, so independent. So basically,
I think Hussein will definitely know this.
no, Hussein definitely. Yeah, Hussein easy. Hussein will get every single word you just said. Independent. I think it is. Damn it.
It's hard.
Okay,
Wallahi, it's hard.
there you go. That's for those in the that are watching.
Put in the comment.
Let us
Put
know
in
in the
the
comments,
comments,
and then we'll do a poll, and then yay.
It looks like a draw.
It looks like a draw. I think that's respectable.
Yeah.
Asad has been challenged today to a draw. First time ever in the How Good Is Your Somali challenge.
I thought I was going to lose today, but you know what I mean?
Well,
Survived.
Not bad.
We brought it back with that one.
Definitely, man. Again, I said obviously as always, thank you, Ali, Guled, Olad. Go show
Thank
your
you,
support, guys.
guys.
Thanks for
Thanks.
coming.
Yes.
And if you made it this far to the video,
Thank you
you know
very
what
much.
to do. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you on the next one.